That's Drew.
And that's Mike.
And that's Randy Santel.
Hey, excited to be on the show.
Yeah, thanks for being on, Randy. For our listeners, Randy Santel is a professional eater, YouTuber, and entrepreneur with a history that includes almost 900 food challenge wins across all 50 United States and 37 different countries. Since joining YouTube in September of 2011, Randy has created a community of nearly 1.2 million subscribers with 345 million views of his collection of over 1,000 videos. Randy also owns and operates the website foodchallenges.com, where you can find all information and strategy to tackle your own food challenges. Be sure to check out his website and follow Randy's YouTube channel for new eating videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And once again, Randy, thanks so much for your time today.
Yes, looking forward to it. I listened to Katina's podcast twice and was really excited to talk to you guys. You guys ask great questions.
Well, we're excited to have you. I think you're one of the first people that'll open up in a way, because you have so much, space in YouTube, as well as there's a really cool thing I want to dive into, which we can start there, I guess, which is not typically where we go. But I think there's a lot of opportunities that are coming out of YouTube that are changing the games for sports or different kind of, professional venues or event kind of items. So the traditional professional eater before YouTube would go out and they would go to multiple events, build a name for themselves, eventually maybe make it up to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on Coney Island. But now we've opened up this whole new realm, and we see it with skateboarding the same way. You'd go through the whole brand sponsor me video, but now you can create a YouTube channel, get sponsored, and go through that. What are your thoughts on this kind of change in the industry as we, get further down the path of maybe YouTube being that forefront?
Yeah, and it's really just social media in general. I know there's other platforms trying to get more video too. We're definitely big on Facebook as well. I think we actually have more followers on Facebook. It's like almost 1.3 million, and then we're almost to 1.2 million on YouTube. But especially everybody's just dropping cable because it's so expensive. Everybody's hopping over to watching more YouTube or other stuff. So back in the day, before YouTube and all that, people, in order to make money doing as professional leaders, there really wasn't that much money to even make, because most contests, unless they're really big contests, you're only going after like $500, $1,000. It'd be really, really hard. You'd have to really hustle to make even $30,000, $40,000 just through eating contests. It's a lot easier to make more money doing all the social media stuff.
Yeah. And so do you see a change in that next generation, right? I think Katina is part of that straight YouTube generation where she doesn't do many contest side of it, where you kind of had a little bit of a dabbling in both sides.
Yes. Yeah, I did a few eating contests. I actually kind of think they're gross. All the dipping stuff into water and all that. Yep. It's not only gross to eat the food, it's also gross to watch. So I don't really even watch that many eating contests. I watched the big one on 4th of July just to watch because I know most of the people in it, but I don't actually enjoy watching them eat the food or anything. If the Adam Richman from Man vs. Food, if he dunked his stuff and was real nasty when he was eating, nobody would have watched the show originally, which was a big spark that really helped a lot of the food challenges that I've done over my career get started. So There's I would say without Man vs. Food, I don't think I'd have as many wins. And that's one thing. Once I get to where I want to finish up like 1,100 wins or something like that, whatever it ends up being, I don't really think anybody's going to ever be able to match that number, just because a lot of the food challenges are gone now, since doing food challenges isn't as big as it was back in like 2010 when I started. So I'd say of the 914 wins I have now, I would say like 500 of those challenges aren't even available because either the restaurant stopped them or the restaurant just shut down.
Yeah, no, and I didn't realize that Adam Richman was such a pioneer in the industry and has created kind of this whole change, maybe, even if you want to say.
Well, and the best part is that Adam Richman never really had any part in it other than the Man vs. Food show. Because once he was done with Man vs. Food, he tried to be not known as the guy from Man vs. Food. He tried starting other shows like Adam's he wanted to be a food reviewer, I guess, because he did that one show, America's Best Sandwich, where he toured around the country to go check out sandwiches and stuff. And he was trying to get away from being seen as the food challenge guy, which is kind of what he's always been, just because everybody loved that show. But I've been able to take it with foodchallenges.com and all that and just kind of take it over. Because I know the guys from the new show, they tried to reboot Man vs. Food. I don't know if you know that, with a guy named Casey Webb. So, but I've got a few friends that have been on the show, and the team that did all the stuff for it, they've told my friends, anytime you look up anything related to food challenges, Randy always pops up. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
we've definitely taken over the SEO of food challenges.
Yeah. Well, let's kick it back a little bit, back to using the Pioneer, back to growing up in. I'm glad that we talked about that before because that worked really well.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not usually that smooth. That's why I have Drew. He's a great writer. I'm not. So growing up in St. Louis area, you grew up in a pretty general area, moved out to the suburbs when you were around 13. I think we saw.
Grade. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I moved out in 4th grade. I didn't actually start school in the St. Charles area until 5th grade. So, and then my family still lives there, and I think they'll always have that house. So,
yeah.
But yeah, North County, St. Louis is where I grew up. But really, I guess the more formative years were the ones after that. In St. Peters, Missouri is where family still lives.
Okay. And you were recently there doing a food challenge. I saw that. And so where did your love for food begin? And has it's obviously morphed, but did you always have a love for food growing up?
I've always had a love for food. I've always been able to eat big, because a lot of people don't, I guess, really understand the ability to do food challenges and stuff like that is mostly genetic. So it's kind of like weightlifting. There's some people that are just meant to be able to eat more, and there's some people that don't have the stomach to do that. But I've always been a big eater. In 5th grade, actually, I was 205 pounds, which is freaking giant for being whatever age I was in 5th grade. But I actually had to lose I didn't have to, I wanted to. I lost 40 pounds through the Weight Watchers system. My mom was on it at the time, and she helped me and counted my points and stuff like that. But then I had a few years where I was a bit lighter. I walked into high school at around 6'1" and 185 pounds. And then my max I got up to senior year was 346. So
Wow.
There was a lot of eating entailed with that. And really it was to become a better offensive lineman. I played high school football, and I think I was varsity as a junior, and I was only like 235 pounds. So I wanted to be better. I was kind of getting pushed around. I wanted to be better. So I just started to eat. My first job was at Subway. I pretty much within a 5-hour shift, I would eat 3 double meat footlongs, which is a hell of a lot of food. So I've always known that I could eat. And then my buddies in college all knew that I could eat too. I think, I know you said you don't know much about football, but maybe you do from movies. But before every season starts, you usually go through two-a-days for like 2 weeks to get conditioning and stuff like that. All my buddies in college were losing weight during two-a-days, but we were there for college, so we had like 3 buffets a day, and I just wasn't able to handle it. I think I gained like 25 pounds in like 2 weeks, just from 3 buffets a day. I mean, we were working out a lot and doing all that, but I was just eating so much. It was crazy. My coach, when he weighed me after 2 days was over, the strength and conditioning coach threw his clipboard down and just like, "What the hell are you doing, Santel? You are eating way too much." I say, "Coach, 3 buffets a day, and you guys give us 2 sandwiches at night. It's your fault."
you are
it's not mine,
not me.
Yeah. I've
So
always been able to eat a lot.
Did you have any approach to managing your weight or staying at a certain weight during that time? I mean, it seems like from an early age with the help with Weight Watchers and your mom that you sort of had the awareness, the bodily awareness that you can physically change yourself according to what diet you maintain or how much you work out or things like that. And certainly being an elite level athlete like that, you had that sort of awareness, which I don't think comes that early to a lot of people. So what was your approach at such a young age to maintaining that? Or did you have an approach at all? Was it sort of like not losing weight during 2 days? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, once the 2 days was over and it was time to actually, the coaches wanted me to lose weight, which I, of course, wanted to do because I wanted to play and be better. But I've always kind of known, and yeah, I would say that Weight Watchers did help me get a better understanding of calories in versus calories out. The biggest problem that I had for many years was just beer. I love beer. So in playing college football, everybody else loved beer. So, I mean, we would work hard. It was almost like work hard, eat light during the week, and then it'd be party after the games and stuff like that. So that would be, I'd say, the hardest part. And I mean, when we go out, we never really have just a six pack. So a lot of calories from that. So especially now that I'm not the big partier anymore, it's a lot easier to maintain my weight. And if I didn't do food challenges, I'd probably walk around most of the time with at least close to a six pack. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And it speaks also to something that you mentioned on your website about in January 2010, you decided to do a Spartacus transformation challenge. And I think that's a testament to it too. That seems pretty extreme. And to go through that extreme transformation in just a couple months and come out being very fit like that, it speaks a lot to your dedication.
I played college football for 3 years, and then I just kind of got tired of it. I couldn't handle all the meetings. It was, I mean, college football is pretty much a job. It's not really about fun. It's very serious, and I kind of lost my love for it. But then knowing that I wasn't going to be playing football anymore, or really any sports, I knew that I didn't need all that weight. So a lot of the weight I lost was just gradual, just from attempted diet and weight loss plans. I would go for a couple months of eating light and working out a lot more, and I'd get my weight down, and then I would go off for a little bit and just kind of yo-yo. But then, yeah, for that body transformation contest, I always kind of envisioned myself and just kind of wondered what it would be like to be really ripped. And so with that contest I just figured it would be really good motivation. It was by Men's Health magazine that I read a lot for tips and stuff like that at the time. And then did you guys ever watch the show Spartacus? It was on the Stars Network.
I've not, no.
Okay, it was a gladiator show. So they were half sponsors of the contest. The winner was going to get to go to Auckland, New Zealand to appear on an episode of the show. And so that's kind of why, if you saw the photos, I was wearing a gladiator outfit. And because I wanted to attract and kind of stand out from all the competition. And so during that, it was like 8 weeks, 2 months, just because I found out about the contest late. And I went to Colorado for a ski trip, and I was not going to be on a diet during that. So, but I took my before and after photos, and then 8 weeks later, I went from 250 pretty much down to 223, which was ripped up, and I got like a 10-day tanning package and put a bunch of baby oil on, trying to be all toned and stuff. And took the photos, sent them off, and ended up winning. And so I sent my body transformation photos. I took those on March 12th, 2010. And then I did my first food challenge a week later exactly in St. Louis, Missouri on March 19th. So I just had my 10-year anniversary earlier this year.
And did you go to Auckland?
Yes. Yeah, I actually found out about the trip late. It was kind of funny. They were supposed to announce the results like a month later, and I was, of course, waiting because I did really well. And like 3 months later, no announcement had been made, and I don't know if they just forgot about it or what, or just didn't really care. I kind of sent a nasty email, just mad that they didn't announce the winner. I mean, everybody was wanting to know the winner or whatnot, and all my friends were asking because they all laughed at the photos I posted online from the transformation. But a day later, I got an email saying I won. So wow. I don't know if they were just waiting for somebody to bitch and moan, but I did that and went in September. So that was actually my first time out of the country. So I had to get my passport for that. So it was really neat. And that's kind of what opened up my eyes and my love for traveling. And so since then, I've got food challenge wins in 37 countries and all 50 states. So before that, my family went on like a vacation every year, but we didn't really do too much traveling. So, I mean, I've done tons more traveling since 2010 than prior to that.
Yeah, and I actually want to take it back to another one. So there's two, from what I was reading about you, there's two major transformations that you went through in a weight loss.
Yes, 2012 was the other one, 10 weeks.
And so I have another one then, maybe three. So you talked briefly about losing 40 pounds one summer, and that goes back to the Boy Scouts, so that you go on a trip to, right?
That is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. I'm an Eagle Scout. That's
Yeah,
probably one of my proudest accomplishments.
that's where I want to get
But
to.
pretty much once you turn 18, you're out of Boy Scouts. You can become a venture and stuff like that. But I loved all the big trips that I did every year through Boy Scouts. And my last hurrah was going to be a 10-day trip to the Bahamas to be on a sailboat for those 10 days. And in order to go on that trip, you couldn't be over 300 pounds. It was like a health risk. And I found out about that, and I was like 346 pounds from after my football season. I hurt my knee, and so I couldn't play or really do much exercise for a while. So, and I kept on eating like I was, and then with drinking and stuff like that, I gained a lot of weight and got up to 346. And I wanted to go on that trip, so I had to lose like 45, 50 pounds in order to get on it. And I ended up doing it. Right before the trip, I ended up weighing 294 pounds.
Wow.
But then I came back like 11 days later, got on the scale, and I was 313. So I ate a lot of food while I was there. So we were on a boat, and I was pretty much the cleanup for it.
But it seems like when motivated, you can do almost anything. Because for me, I was a swimmer in college. I was a swimmer my whole life, and I struggled very much outside of the collegiate world when I wasn't swimming every day to maintain a regular weight. And people always said that to me, oh, to catch up with you. But you seem
if I had $1 for every time I heard that, yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, or else people, I could eat like that when I was 19, but not
right.
now. Or yeah, you enjoy doing that now. It'll catch up. You can't be doing this all your life. I'm like, oh, thanks for that revolutionary advice.
But I think you're getting to a point with your degree currently and where you want to go to help prove potentially that. Obviously, if you're going to eat a food challenge every day for 365 days, there's no amount of working out or training that you can do to not gain some kind of weight. I don't think that that's possible, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's one of the problems with the YouTube eating community is people want to have more and more videos, but they don't want to do all the exercise and working out or take on the weight gain. So integrity goes down the drain when that happens. Mm-hmm. But what you're talking about is I'm in the process of becoming a registered dietitian. So I went back to school in 2016. I graduated May 2019. And then the original plan was to start, in order to become a dietitian, you have to do the 4-year degree, bachelor's degree, which I've done that. Then you've got to do a 1,200-hour dietetic internship, which takes like 7 to 9 months, depends on how aggressive you want to do full time. My original plan was to do that right after school, but then I decided that I didn't want to be a registered dietitian doing food challenges. I wanted to be more effective and efficient to kind of get all my food challenges out of the way before I became a dietitian. Because in 2024, they're going to start requiring dietitians to have master's degrees in order to become a dietitian. So really, as long as I become a dietitian before 2024, I'm okay. So I decided to take 1 year off, which turned into 2 years, in order to just travel all around the world and do food challenges. And then I'm going to be, I have to apply in February, and then I'll be accepted in April to one of the programs I apply to. And then I'll start in August of 2021. That'll take like 7 to 9 months. So the first 7 months of 2021, it's going to be about filming a lot of videos to get me through that. And then once I'm done, Katina will hopefully be still with me. And then we'll do a big old world tour and do all the other food challenges I want to do. And then I'll retire and take the test to become a dietitian. And then it'll be a slow process that I'll start before I become one. But we'll shift all of my social media over to helping people with nutrition and weight management. So on the day I become a dietitian, I'll become the most followed registered dietitian in the world. So that'll be a big platform that I can use with a lot of leverage and open up a whole world of opportunity.
which is amazing. And I think your story, because there's so many kids in the world that are, yeah, I think there's a shaming in a sense that maybe it's they don't understand how to deal with losing weight or what the consequences of gaining weight might be or how to do it. So maybe
Nobody grows up with a nutrition education.
no, they don't.
I
And
mean, it's the same with finances. That's why so many people are broke and don't know what to do with their money, and they don't know how to eat or exercise or anything like that.
yeah, and if you can take this platform and change that from someone who has, some of the most crazy videos out there are like the people who go from fit to fat and back, right? But you're doing it in, I think your platform can really, you've struggled with weight your whole life. And
I'll
then
be very relatable. I think
yeah,
is
you've
what
made a
you're getting at.
career
Yes.
out of it.
Yeah, and that's one of the dietitian problems. It's mostly like 95% women,
Yeah.
and a lot of those women have never been big or anything like that. So it's hard for most of the world to relate to them. So I'll be coming onto the scene with all this social media. It'll be a big opportunity. So a big responsibility too, which I'm making sure that I'm ready for all that.
Yeah, but I've no like only positive vibes from what'll come from that, because watching you with the crowd, right? I was just watching a video of you eating while I was putting my son down, of you eating 8 sundaes or milkshakes. Sorry, 8 milkshakes in Tennessee.
Oh, that was hell. Yeah.
And you had eaten a
In
gallon of milk.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, you
It
had
was a
eaten
gallon of milkshake, but then every milkshake had a bunch of toppings and stuff on it. It was crazy.
And the day before that, you ate another gallon of milk.
A gallon of ice cream, yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, the gallon of ice cream was way easier because it didn't have all the toppings and fillings and stuff.
But even during that, I think one of the best things is your relatability to a crowd and how people just want to be there to follow you. And you were talking to, I couldn't see the little girl, but I'm gonna guess she's probably 6 years old, 7 years old, maybe 8 years old. You're talking to her just like anyone else, and I think that allows these kids or anyone else in the crowd to really relate to you, and that is a great thing. So I really look forward to the next step of Randy Santel in 2023 or 2022 to help this platform. And our platform is very much another side of that, is like we want to help the next generation of kids who might be stuck or don't feel like they fit in anywhere to realize that there's a creative outlet for everyone and they can pick their own path and to do it. Now, there's a lot of work that goes into it, right? Doing 4 challenges a week at least or more to get the content for your YouTube channel is nothing but work for you. And I think you're showing that, and everyone else will show that. If you want to put the work in, you can do whatever you want. And you're a testament to that.
Yeah, that's one of the big things I laugh at is some people say, Randy, it's time to get a real job. And then I always say, hey, I would love to have a real job. I would work like 40 few hours a week. That people don't realize that in order to do stuff like this and be one of the top, I mean, it takes tons of work. I mean, I'm pretty much going from time I wake up to when I go to bed.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
So
You're
there's
running
always something to do. I mean, either comment response or getting food challenges set up, working on the videos. I mean, we post 3 videos a week. That's a lot. And then I have to manage. I've got 2 full-time editors that do all the videos, and then other people that help with stuff.
And you're running foodchallengers.com. Your social media platforms, it's not just your Instagram, it's your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All of those items need to be maintained and consistent, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Correct. Yeah, if you just stop posting on something, you kind of just get out of mind, and nobody wants that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so let's go back a little bit further too. You have had a real job. So you did graduate after your football career with a degree in construction management, and you went out to eventually become a concrete estimator. And you worked your way up through that ladder in the world. So what was the change that said, I need to get out of the 9 to 5 and start to do something on my own?
Yes. Yeah. I graduated in 2008 with a degree in construction management. Both of my degrees are from Missouri State, which is in Springfield, Missouri, where I still have an apartment for now until I start that internship. But I moved, I'm from St. Louis, as you guys know, then went to school in Springfield. And then I moved to Kansas City after I was done with the first round of college. And then I was a construction estimator for, it was like at the time, the 19th biggest general contractor in the country called J.E. Dunn. And then 2008 was real bad for construction because of everything going on at the time. And I was laid off a year later. And then I got real lucky through a connection. Just 2 weeks later, I started another job as a concrete estimator. And I did that for like 3.5 years. And that was in Olathe, Kansas. But then I knew, even working at J.E. Dunn, I knew that I didn't really love the construction process. It's just really, I mean, especially now, everything's legal, and it's just a whole bunch of people trying to screw others over in order to get temporary money. And so I didn't really enjoy that at all. And then as an estimator for a big company, we have a lot of overhead. And so you had to really inflate the numbers in order to get jobs, in order to actually pay for the bills and stuff of the company. So when we're competing with like 25 other companies for a big project, you can't win. So, I mean, there was really I was spending like 2-3 weeks helping to bid a project that we all knew we weren't going to win. So, I mean, there was no glory or benefits or nothing I really enjoyed out of that. And so I was always kind of looking for a way out, I guess, from the construction industry, but I didn't really have any other skills. I didn't want to become like a laborer or anything like that. So I think health and fitness was one of my outlets to feel better, and I started getting more into that. And then in 2010, did that body transformation, and then won. And then going to New Zealand kind of opened me up wanting to travel more. And then I just kind of just kept on going with everything. I built randysantel.com in 2012, just kept on going everything. And then in 2013, I ended up, for 7 months, I moved up to Omaha, Nebraska as a roofing salesman, kind of a storm chaser. Like 60,000 homes got hit with hail. And I just spent 7 months just trying to sell all the roofs and then project manage them in order to make all the money I could to fund my first European trip. And then I wanted to get foodchallenges.com going. So all the money that I made from the roofing was going to help fund the first initial months and all that, and then the trip and the website and all that. And then I moved home in 2013, no, I guess the start of 2014, to mom and dad's in St. Louis so that I wouldn't have any really bills or anything like that. But then, yeah, I figured that, and really anybody that wanting to get into social media, I mean, or whatever else, if you treat it like a part-time hobby, that's all it's ever going to be. So I knew I wanted to dive all in and really go after all this professional eating and stuff like that. And thankfully it worked out for me.
Yeah, we've heard that message 100 times. I mean, not 100 times, but almost from every person who's made that dive is almost exactly. If you treat it part-time, you're going to get part-time results. And the second they put every cent they had into it, the return was tenfold. I mean, Brooks told us that last week. The second he had all of his time on his channel, I mean, what did he say? He got like 30,000 followers in 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Subscribers. So it's a great,
very good.
Yeah. And I think you're really hitting that. And it's an interesting story to see because I feel like a lot of people are not happy in their current job and they don't have that outlet. And
I think the numbers are massive for that.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And
the amount of people that are currently doing their dream job is very minimal.
very, very, very. But, you know, the thought of always getting out or always doing something, it takes that step. And you took that step. You took all the steps that you knew what you had, but it all came from a goal that I think when you had that first food challenge, and I have, it was at Pointer's Pizza, and it was a 28-inch pizza, right?
Yep. Yeah. The Pointersaurus. I did it with my buddy Dan. So that's kind of, Atlas and Zeus versus the Pointersaurus. We had an hour to finish. I think we ended up winning in 48 minutes, and we got the pizza for free and then a check for $500. And then I started, afterwards, I was still kind of hungry. And then I went home and had ice cream and had a little bit of mom and dad's dinner. And I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this and it might be something fun to do. And it was also going to be, food challenges would be a motivation to keep on working out. Because once I got done with that body transformation contest, there wasn't really anything that I needed to have a six-pack for or anything like that. I didn't really have any other, motivation to keep on working out. I knew that if I kept on doing the food challenges, and didn't work out or anything like that, I would get bigger. So it was almost like a fun game of trying to work my construction jobs and work, and then just eat real healthy and do all that during the week, and then just go balls to the wall doing food challenges, sometimes 2 or 3 in a weekend on the weekend. So it was just trying to figure out and get a balance to it was kind of just like a fun game.
When did you start posting to YouTube? Sorry, Drew.
Did you have something?
Go ahead and answer that, because I wanted to ask about the YouTube channel too.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, and you gave that number earlier that I started the channel in 2011. That's on there because I initially started a YouTube channel in 2010, back when I first did the challenge, called Atlas Zeus Promos, because that's where the Atlas and Zeus promotions is what I kind of called everything. And then in 2011, I finally realized, hey, that's stupid, and I need to convert all my stuff over to Randy Santel. So I took all the videos that had Atlas Zeus promos and all the branding in it, redid it all, made it Randy Santel, and then posted them all. I think I posted and it was really stupid what I did. I posted like all 35 or I think 70 maybe, all at the same time. But then after that, I got back to posting steadily. So that's where that comes from. But what was the initial question? I'm sorry.
Oh, just why did you start posting? What was the thought process? Like you were doing these because you were good, and it was I feel like you're a very goal oriented person, but what was the original reason for posting to YouTube?
Yeah, there's actually 2 inspirations behind everything I'm still doing today. The first is my buddy Dan, who asked me to do that 28-inch pizza with him. And then the second, that never really gets any credit, is my cousin Patrick. He's just like a year or 2 younger than me. He just happened to be off the day that we were going to do that pizza challenge. And I didn't know how I would feel afterwards, which thank God he was there, because I felt like hell. I mean, I was still able to eat, but I was not in driving mood. And it was like 45, 50 minutes away from the house. So my cousin said, hey, if you 2 idiots are going to do that, I'm going to come film it. So he came and filmed it, and then he just knew a little bit about editing. So he turned into the 10-minute video that it still is. And I figured, hey, I might as well just post it. And then a couple of people watched and say, oh, you should try another one, which that was kind of motivational. And so I did my second challenge a month later, and I figured, hey, I videoed the first one, I might as well video this one too. So I got on Craigslist and just found some cheap camera, and then I videoed that and then sent the footage to my cousin Patrick, who turned that into a video. And then I figured, hey, I think I want to keep doing this. I might as well keep on doing the videos. The 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th challenge, I think I paid somebody that I found on Craigslist like $20 a video to edit. And then I knew that I really wanted to do a lot. So I knew that I needed to figure out how to edit. So I edited, I think, the first 100 challenges after that. And then in 2013, my buddy, who still does half the editing now, he was doing 100% of the time until 2016, Magic Mitch Dombrowski. He joined in March 2013, and then he's still with me today. So, but yeah, my cousin Patrick was the inspiration to kind of get everything going as far as with the YouTube channel. And then I don't remember what year I started the Facebook page, but everything just kind of went from there. I quickly saw that everybody was into eating contests. Nobody was really doing food challenges at the time. All the people that were doing food challenges, it was just kind of their way of training to do better at the eating contest. I only ever cared about food challenges, so it was my own little niche. I saw a lot of opportunity and just kind of kept on going with it as an outlet, as something I enjoyed, since I didn't really like the construction job I was doing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about, you sort of answered it already, but where the Atlas and Zeus came from, where that title came from. And then you sort of spoke to it already a little bit as well, but just sort of what your vision was when you started the YouTube channel, especially at a time when, like you said, food challenges were sort of a niche thing. Maybe you had the man versus food going on, but where did you see all that time spent towards uploading these YouTube videos? Where did you see that going? What was your vision for turning that into something, if anything, or was it just a hobby at the time?
Yeah, okay. No, those are great questions. And I would say there's a couple there, so let's answer the easier ones. The Atlas and Zeus comes from all the major competitive eaters had nicknames, and we wanted to have cool nicknames for our first food challenge. And it was also the time. Did you guys watch Jersey Shore at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, we were trying to think of a nickname half as cool as the situation, and we just couldn't. And so finally, he texted me one day and said, "Hey, I want to be Zeus." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, no, that sounds good. But if you're going to be Zeus, I got to be related to it. Hey, I'll be Atlas," and which is awesome. It just kind of fell into place real nice like that. Which it's got the global theme now since I've traveled all over the world, and I'm going to be doing a lot more traveling in 2021. And then a lot of people ask about where my hat turn comes from.
I was also
That
going
is,
to ask that.
some people think it's from Pokemon, but I was never really into Pokemon. Did you guys ever watch the arm wrestling movie with Sylvester Stallone, Over the Top?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's where that comes from. Before every arm wrestling match, he turns his hat around and transforms into what he calls a machine. I do that with my hat before all the food challenges, and then Atlas comes into play, and then it's just time to dominate all the food. But then let's see. When I first started, I mean, there wasn't really any vision to it. It was more just kind of a fun thing to do at the time, more of an outlet, something that I could look forward to on the weekends when I wasn't doing my construction job. And it was motivation to keep on working out and having something to do during the week. I've never really been like a TV watcher or anything like that. So I've always got to have something to do, something to be active, or some kind of goal to have. And so, yeah, I would say at least for the first couple of years, really until late 2012, there wasn't really a whole lot of vision to it. It was just more of something fun to do, more of like something fun to do on the weekends. And then I figured, hey, I might as well just try to grow this social media and have more videos for people to watch and just see where it all goes.
And about how long into starting the channel did it take for it to gain some traction and really get some consistent subscribers or followers with your challenges?
Well, I would say a big thing was when Mitch hopped on in 2013. I've always hated editing. I never really enjoyed doing any of the editing. I just knew that I didn't have the money to pay for somebody else to do it. But then finally, I pretty much just went in and partnered with Mitch once he hopped on. And then we would split all the revenue that was made or anything like that because it wasn't going to be as much. But he saw a vision in it too that we could get everything growing. And then it was a fun way. He came on all the big trips with me as well. But hell, it was years. That's why I feel so bad. It's almost a feeling of pity for people that want to see a quick payoff from all like their social media once they get started. They're like, oh, I want to be famous, or I hope to have a whole bunch of subscribers like you in the next year or two. It took me forever. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of Katina for, is that she got up to 200,000 subscribers crazy quick. I mean, hell, it took me years to get up to 100,000. So, I mean, we didn't really start making money to live comfortably until I would say 2017 because all the money was split. I mean, I was, let's see, when I was 30 years old when I started college, round two in 2016. The cost of living in Springfield, Missouri is almost stupid. It's why I still have a apartment there, and I still pay. It's just $405 a month, which is amazing compared to pretty much everywhere else all around the country. I mean, hell, that's the electric bill for people around here in Spokane, and then in California, stuff like that. But let's see, I lost my train of thought. So, it was $405 a month for rent. My mom had to co-sign on my apartment because I didn't make enough money for them to see that I could pay the bills. And then I was maxing out all of my student loans in order to have extra money to pay for our summer tours. So really until Facebook monetized in June 2018, I think June 18th is when it finally monetized. I mean, it was a struggle. It was all about, and thankfully I'm a minimalist. I don't really care too much about stuff. So that kind of made everything easier. And then I was only supposed to move home to mom and dad's for like 3 months. And that's kind of the big joke. 3 months turned into 3 years because everything didn't take off like I had hoped.
I think that's the biggest misnomer these days. And I was listening to a Joe Rogan, actually Drew also listened to that same one. And every social media that they've released that's gotten backed by venture capitalism, the goal is to get the next person to 1 million subscribers or followers or whatever it is faster. And that's like kind of that number. And so the next generation, these kind of TikTok kids see someone get to 1 million followers and they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But they probably aren't monetized. And now they have this idea that it's easy and it's fun and it's all so fast. But I feel like a lot of the people who got that famous on TikTok were famous on Vine, and they worked their butt off for years to do that. And they don't realize behind the scenes, it's not an overnight thing. It's a ton of work, like you've already said, right? Like traveling for work, I traveled for 7 years. This is the first year I haven't traveled, not because of what's going on in the world, but because I work in an office now. It is not what people say, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to get to go all of these places. I'm going to get to go. Like when you fly to Europe, how much of that time is actually spent traveling around, not in a car to go from event to event to a hotel to sleep to rest after you've just eaten 8 pounds of schnitzel or something like that.
Yeah, no, and that's it's, I mean, I try to do as much sightseeing as I can, but I mean, there's not that much to do. And it really depends on where you're at too. I mean, like if you're in Australia, it's a lot different than Europe.
Yeah.
Because Europe, there's a lot more traveling. Australia, everybody lives in one city. I mean, you might have to go a little bit, but I mean, like here in the United States, there's sometimes I have to do like a 5-8 hour drive to where my next event's going to be. So yeah, I mean, there's not much time to, I mean, hell, I'm not that I promote texting and driving and stuff like that, but there's sometimes you're doing stuff while you're driving, and there's just trying to get it all done. That's the hard part. And you got to really enjoy it, which I do.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, there's motivational speakers that talk about it related to what you were talking about it earlier. I mean, people want to be at the top of the mountain, but they don't understand that, I mean, there's no elevator up there. I mean, there's a whole lot you got to do to climb and scratch and get there.
No,
and they don't want to do that. They just want like, the quick payoff.
It's like climbing Everest, right? Everyone, if you listen to anyone who has climbed Everest, there's multiple times where you get to the third base camp, and then they're like, "Well, weather's not good. You got to go down."
Yeah,
you can't see anything ahead of yourself. You just got to love what you do. And I can say you have reiterated that multiple times in your videos. Not only like the weight loss kind of videos that you've done where you lost 70 pounds and anything there, you're talking about, I'm going to do this because I love doing it. And then once I hit this number that I've set as a goal, I'm going to go do something else that I also have a passion for. And that drive is what really goes. And you're a very goal-oriented person, it seems.
Yeah, and if there's something that you don't actually always love doing, I mean, there's always a way to attach something to it that you do enjoy. Like, I mean, I don't enjoy biking all 10 to 12 hours a week that we do, but I do enjoy listening to podcasts, audio books and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a slow reader, so I don't really read books. So I do all my audio book listening and stuff like that while I'm riding. So even if I'm not looking forward to doing the riding, I can just ride a little lighter if I need to. Body's not feeling it, but I can still enjoy the time listening to the audio book in order to learn and self-improvement and stuff like that.
And how do you do that now with your eating challenges? How do you still make sure that you're enjoying the eating challenges like you did at the start of your 10-year career?
I would say it's a lot easier to even enjoy it now, just because I guess gratitude would be the best way to put it. I mean, Katina and I just did a challenge here in Spokane, Washington, like 2 weeks ago, I think, and like 100 people came. A family drove all the way from Oregon, like 5.5 hours, just to watch us eat food and to meet us. I mean, that's awesome. So, I mean, I really enjoy that. I guess through appreciation, I think it's awesome that everybody loves watching the videos and just trying to keep on making more content for all those people to watch and then and keep their attention so that I can then move on to not only entertaining them, but then I can move on to helping to educate them and help them improve their own lives for themselves through all of the better nutrition, weight management, and stuff like that. Because we were talking about kids, which, yeah, there's a big market in helping kids, but also, I mean, everybody needs help with nutrition, weight management. I mean, from whenever all the way up to 75 or anything like that.
100%. I mean, Drew and I talk about this all the time. It's the unspoken item in what was the percentage, Drew? It's like what, 40% of the United States is obese?
I think it's 2/3, something like that.
They say only like 13% of people have a solid fundamental understanding of nutrition.
Oh, 100%. And it's only killed by the fact that anytime you take even adults, right? Like take out kids and all the fact that they go and look at any healthy item like a bag of lettuce, it's marketed so boringly. And then they go and look at chicken nuggets and it's got 100 different colors on the package. Like, that's what I want. Even to adults, walk down the chips aisle, everything stands out and you're like, I could eat that. Everything screams at you.
Yeah.
You're distracted no matter what you want to do. And
then everybody's confused too. I mean, Katina posted I don't really post too much about my food and my diet and stuff like that. We laugh and joke because we eat salads a lot. Katina posted a video about how she stays healthy and lean by eating salads, and people were giving her crap for eating chlorinated lettuce. It's like, come on, people. I mean, it's people are ridiculous. And then the ones that don't actually have a solid understanding, they get thrown off by stuff like that. I mean, there's people that think the eggs are healthy. There's people that think there's too much cholesterol. What is the truth? Nobody really, there's not a whole lot of people putting out content you can trust. A lot of the nutrition content, fitness content, all that is coming out by people backed by products. So it's all kind of biased. So you don't really know what to believe. It sucks. So somebody's got to get out there and start helping to educate people more from an unbiased standpoint that people can actually use.
It's a marketing game, right? Like, why did the shake weight do so well?
Yeah.
You're never going to, like, the guy who's doing the shake weight is that jacked from doing the shake weight? Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, and even documentaries. I mean, they're all flawed. They're all sponsored by somebody. I mean, everything's all about being 100% one way. I mean, you either got to do the carnivore diet or go 100% vegan and stuff like that. It's all crazy. It's weird.
I stand behind the freegan movement, right?
What is that?
What is that, Mike?
Dumpster dive for all your food. No, I'm just kidding.
We were actually, I was talking about that with Katina's family. They watch a show called Cheapskates. And I guess on one of them, I've never watched it or heard about it, but somebody said that they paid for all the food they got all the food for a party by dumpster diving.
I don't doubt it, man. You go behind.
That is sick.
Go behind a Publix. I'm sure they throw away sheet cakes every day.
Yeah, that's what it came from. Yeah, they got the cake and all the food from behind a grocery store. The food had expired or whatever, and they served it at the party. That is crazy that people would do that.
Yeah, but
I was listening to a podcast earlier today before we were talking on this call, and it was with a guy who was on a TV show called Alone, I think. And they said that you would pick 10 items that you could just take and they would drop you out in the middle of nowhere. And the interviewer was asking, well, where'd you get the experience to be able to do this and feel confident with doing this? And the guy was like, oh, my older brother and I used to just hop on freight trains in the summers back in the day. And he was like, well, what food would you bring with you? How would you get food? And he was like, well, we'd bring some cans of food and then just dumpster dive most of the way. You'd be really surprised how good the stuff is.
Yeah. I listened to that one. That was on Joe. That was awesome, dude. I want to get back to the channel a little bit and talk about that growth, right? So you started in 2011 posting videos.
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
So you're 2010. You have 344.6 million views on YouTube as of today. You have 51 videos with over 1 million views. You have
Is that it? Or I mean, is that many? That's awesome.
You have 51. You have 51 with over 1 million, and then there's 6 that are like knocking on the door to get to 1 million.
Okay.
And you have 6 of those that are.
That's just on YouTube. We've got a bunch with millions.
And that's just on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is just on YouTube, and we actually. This is a whole different story. I don't really use Facebook. Drew actually has a flip phone, so he's probably the worst person asked to check on. Yeah, he's different guy. I love him for it though. So you have 6 videos with over 4 million views. Yeah, man, it helps us. He's actually pushed me to help ground. But so I want to talk about the first couple videos you're posting, right? That video from Pointer's Pizza. You post it. How many videos? How many how many views was it getting?
I think for everybody, I mean, the initial views was just from their family.
Right.
So I mean, I posted it to my personal Facebook page, maybe told some friends about it, but it was pretty much from that. So just your inner circle, at least for the first couple, and then once I kept on posting, more people started to join in, and it was a lot easier back then because kids didn't grow up wanting to be YouTubers at the time.
Right. Oh, that's
now there's just so many people trying to post videos and break out from the rest. It's hard. It would be way harder to do the channel and get it going now as compared to 10 years ago when I started.
So what was it like when your first video hit 1 million views?
Ooh, the first one to hit 1 million is probably the Irish Breakfast Challenge. It was awesome. It was very cool. So it was one that I did in 2013 or 2014. Yeah, 2015 maybe, or something like that. Yeah, 2015 is when I did it. But it didn't all happen overnight. I've only had one video, I think, just hit 1 million really super quick, and it was that one where we talked about the restaurants that cheated me.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's got a whole bunch on YouTube and Facebook. But no, it was very cool. And then, it just kind of reinforced the feeling that, hey, I've got something going here. Let's keep on doing it. And then did you watch the 18-minute documentary that Vice did back in 2015? It's titled Meet Randy Santel.
I did not watch that now, but
yeah, that's my favorite video on the internet. That's actually what kind of got the channels a boost. So Vice at the time had their Munchies channel, and they were doing a thing, and one of the producers just happened to be a big fan of our videos from the videos that I posted from a previous trip. And they contacted me, and I thought it was just going to be like this 30-minute interview. I'd never really even heard of Vice at the time, didn't know it was this massive media company, and ended up turning into 23 hours over the course of 2 days. Wow. Filming with these a crew of 5 people that turned into this 18-minute Meet Randy Santel documentary. And then I think once that video posted, I think we got like 15,000 views or 15,000 new subscribers that next month from the video. And even to this day, if you go look at all the comments, every like 2 months I go back and thank everybody that has watched the video and commented and stuff like that, just to thank them. Because I mean, the ROI of people that watch that video, because there's a big hook at the end and then move on to watching our videos on the channel, is massive.
You also have one with fuel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Munchies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, well, Vice, their Munchies channel, it was like a fuel series.
Okay.
It was basically, it was all about like what, it was a different kind of video compared to what was in the fuel series. It was more of like they went to a sumo wrestler to find out their diet, a power lifter and stuff like that. And then I was the professional eater.
Oh, I see it here. Yeah. Season 1, episode 5, the original New York slice, the 10,000 calorie sumo wrestler diet, and then Meet Randy Santel, the world-class professional eater. Yeah. April 7th, 2015, 1.1. But I mean, this is 1.1 million views, 4,000.
Yeah, and we didn't have that many subscribers at the time when it posted.
Right.
I mean, it took me years and years and years to get to 100,000.
Yeah.
So when I first got my 100,000 subscribers plaque, that was awesome. That was a really good feeling.
So what was it like, the growth to 100,000? Can you kind of explain that path?
It just took forever. And really, it wasn't like I wasn't like frustrated or uncomfortable with it, because I enjoyed everything I was doing. I mean, hell, I was just traveling, eating, working out, and just going over and doing food challenges. And even in 2012, I mean, people were still coming to the events that we were doing and stuff when I would post about them. So that was neat. I mean, it wasn't the numbers like we get today, but it was just, way overused, but just grinding it out, always just going after the goals. And then once I was able to be done with the roofing sales and focus all in on everything I was doing in October 26, 2013 is when my final day of construction, when I took the leap and went over to only working on everything I was doing. So, I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and I definitely don't think I could go back to doing a normal job now after all these years of doing what I've been doing. I wouldn't want to work for the man, that's for sure.
Well, now you
comes
are.
across it comes across in your channel. It's come across a lot in our conversation here today, but you focus a lot on being positive and promoting positivity, which I appreciate a lot. That's something that seems to be unique on YouTube and on the general internet these days. So I wanted to ask about how you bring that positivity to, number one, the YouTube comment section, and number two, how you maintain that positivity with your relationship towards the restaurants that you visit and do the food challenges with. And in general, what's your approach to establishing a relationship with both your subscribers, the commenters, and with the restaurants that you go to?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And this ring that I wear, it's got BOOM engraved on it, on my right hand. And BOOM's actually an acronym that I say to start off every food challenge. It hasn't always been an acronym, but eventually came to one. But the B is for benevolence, which is basically be kind. And then omnipresence, omnipotence, and then maximum effort. So that's kind of my, I guess, mantra, if you want to call it that. But yeah, definitely always trying to be positive. That one negative video has so many views to it of bringing the attention to the restaurant that cheated me. But really, there's like 20 others that have screwed me over in some way or another by either adding more food or whatever they've done. And I mean, I would love to call them out too, but I would burn the bridge and then I would not be able to go back and get revenge and do the food challenge. So that would suck. So I got to just suck up and take it in the kisser for a little bit. And then once I'm leaner and feeling better, I'll go back. But yeah, we definitely focus on all the positivity we can. I mean, there's not really any value in being mean. I mean, even when people, I mean, I've probably had over 15,000 comments that were pretty rude about my weight or anything like that. People think I'm an idiot. I mean, not really subscribers that watch a lot of videos. It's just like the one-offs that will watch a video and be like, this fat bastard or whatever like that. I mean, we even try to be kind to them. I mean, there's days when I'm feeling snarky and I'll give a good sarcastic remark. But overall, I try to always be as positive as I can. And we do get a lot of emails and messages and other comments about that, about how they appreciate that with all the stuff they deal with in the world going on and stuff like that, they always know that they can come watch our videos and they know that everything will be uplifting and positive. I never cheer against anybody I'm doing a challenge with. I'm always cheering for them and just trying to be as positive as I can. And yeah, like you asked about the relationship with the subscribers. I mean, hell, I spend hours every day just comment response, email response, message response. Everybody's reaching out with either questions or needing something. So I just try to keep everybody engaged. And then I also know that by showing my appreciation for their time watching, they'll keep on watching more videos. So I just try to, yeah. And then we try to do Q&As. I haven't done any in a while, but I need to do more Facebook live streams and stuff like that, answering questions. But yeah, trying to keep everybody engaged so that I can help move everybody over to helping them with nutrition, weight management. I mean, we'll lose some subscribers, but we'll also gain a ton more.
Yeah. No, I think you'll lose less than you think. You're still
Yes.
Randy Santel, right? Yeah. The
Correct.
people who they're still going to get the content they want, they can go back in the log. But yeah. I'm excited for that.
We won't get the video. Well, I mean, it'll depend. I don't really know how the transition is going to work. So I'll also be, I'll still be traveling because then I'll travel. Right now I'm traveling for food challenges. Then I'll start traveling for, I mean, I'll be the #1 dietitian on social media. I'll be traveling to various conferences and stuff like that, doing a lot of public speaking. So that'll be fun.
Will you still do challenges? Or
Probably not.
Okay.
No, I'll do a final retirement tour. And I mean, I'll do some, but I mean, hell, if somebody comes and says, hey, for $100,000 donated to the charity of your choice, we need you to do this food challenge. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to do that.
100%.
But I'm not going to be actively, and I don't know what's going to happen with foodchallenges.com either. I'll have to have somebody managing that. It won't be something I will have the time to do. And also, I mean, foodchallenges.com, we're not even operating at 5% of what the potential could be. because I focus all my time on my Randy Santel stuff. So if there was more people helping or wanting to help with foodchallenges.com, I mean, we could do a lot with it as far as restaurant promotions and other stuff. So hopefully once I'm more networked, we'll be able to get stuff like that with that going as well. Lots of opportunities, that's for sure.
100%.
Yeah, I was hoping you could speak a little bit too about what you're doing and what it's done for restaurants, especially local restaurants during this past year. You've been touring still to these restaurants. So I was hoping from your perspective, you could tell the listeners a little bit sort of how what you do helps, because I think a lot of times you might get negative comments. So you might get those one-off viewers that just think like, oh yeah, this is just some fat guy like eating a bunch of food. This is gluttonous when everybody's struggling right now. But I think there's a totally different perspective that you must get from seeing the people that come out and watch and the restaurants that you're helping to promote. So I was hoping you could speak a little bit from your perspective on what that's been like this past year in 2020.
Yeah, we took well, first of all, you asked a lot of questions at one time.
I do,
Which
yeah.
is cool. I like that.
I got a lot going on in my head.
I just have to think in my mind in order to answer all of them. But really all that's along one line. And yeah, we pretty much had to take off the whole first half of the year because of COVID and everything that was going on. There were no restaurants open or anything like that. But then on June 24th, which is my birthday, we kicked off all of the 2020 plans in Texas, because Texas was pretty open at the time. I don't know how it is now. Really, it's still pretty open down in the South, which is why we focused a lot of our time, really all of our time, on the Southeast USA. But yeah, no, I mean, every restaurant all around the country is struggling. Those that didn't start out with most of their business coming from takeout and delivery and stuff like that. So tried to do all the different restaurant challenges we could this year, which was a lot. I was doing challenges every day, pretty much 7 days a week, because I had a team called Further You helping me with my schedule. But yeah, I was on the road pretty much from June 24th until just Halloween, pretty much. So it was a lot of fun. But pretty much all of the restaurants we went to, all of the crowd, a lot of it was first-time people trying the restaurant. I mean, we have people driving hours just to come meet us and watch the food challenges and stuff like that. All of those people, a really high percentage of the people that come to our events, they end up ordering food to try it out. And this kind of goes along with your previous question about keeping everything positive. I mean, it takes a while to actually start the video. I've got to get pictures of the food and videos of the food for everything I need for the videos, so my editors can run with it and make the videos. Sometimes the food's not very good, either because it took me a while to start or it just wasn't cooked that well. I mean, I always make sure everything comes out positive in the video. I hardly ever say the food was bad. And the only times I would do that is I hate when restaurants add so much sauce to the challenge to the point where you can't even taste their food. So, I mean, it's the people that are proud of their food. You don't need ketchup if the food actually tastes good, unless you just love the taste of ketchup, which I like it sometimes, but not on everything. But yeah, one of my favorite compliments is when a food challenge just tasted terrible, but all of the comments are all about, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Then I'm like, oh, I've done my job. Because even if a food challenge isn't good or a restaurant's food's not good, I mean, food challenge meals don't get made that much by almost all the restaurants. So I don't want people thinking negative about a restaurant based on one meal that was massive that the cook had no practice preparing. So I always try to make everything positive. But go back, what was the original question?
Oh gosh, I kind of lost my train of thought now too.
Yeah. I think I answered most of it, but I think there's a part that I missed.
No, I think you hit most of it. And while you're speaking, I was wondering, what do you do with restaurants post-challenge? You spoke a little bit about not wanting to burn bridges with these restaurants. You can go back and maybe win the challenge that you lost in the past. But with all the restaurants across the board, is there any general protocol that you follow after the challenge with maintaining a relationship with them?
Okay, yeah, and then that just sparked me to remember what you were talking about. So yes, yeah, once the video is done, or once the challenge is done, we post new videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So all the footage that I film Then we end up posting the video and doing all the promotions on my social media. And then more people, other than the ones that came to the event, are able to find out about the restaurant. I mean, we hear all the time from people saying, thanks for doing the video here. I was there on a trip or a vacation and went and tried it. Really loved our meal. So it doesn't really put them on the map like Man versus Food did for restaurants, but it just raises the general awareness. I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, no matter what city you're in, if there's not just like 3,000 or 4,000 people in it, I mean, there's tons of restaurants that people have to choose from. So just the goal is just to bring attention of, I mean, there's not that many big time, well-known restaurants that offer food challenges. The corporate ones don't really have that many food challenges. It's the mom and pop ones. And those are the ones that are especially struggling with everything going on, being able to try to pay the bills and stuff like that. So by doing these food challenge events, posting all the videos, we just trying to get them as much attention as we can while we can. And then a couple days later, we move on to helping the next one. So, but yeah, along the lines of the most recent question, it's pretty much the big relationship is just posting the videos. Sometimes I stay friends with some of the restaurants, or if I'm back in a city and I have the chance to go have a normal meal, I'll go back there and order. But I mean, the ones that like screw me over, I don't do anything because there's no negativity that I bring back to it. I just never talk about them in any of my, I would never use, even if their challenge was delicious, I wouldn't use it in a video of my top most delicious videos. I mean, they're just kind of dead to me until I'm in the area in order to redo the challenge. And then I won't do that much promotion. Any promotion's not really to help the restaurant. It's more because I want our subscribers in the area to have a chance to come meet us.
I gotcha.
But then, even when I do the challenge, I think there might be a couple times this year where I kind of call out the restaurant as being a bunch of jackasses. Those will be the ones where they really did screw me over. Like, there's a chicken wing challenge in O'Fallon, Missouri, where they didn't want me to win, so they had the cooks go in early and pick out the 55 biggest chicken wings.
No way.
So that I wouldn't be able to win. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I'm gonna probably call them out when I do their challenge, and I mean in like a passive aggressive kind of way. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything to like blow up their social media or anything like that, or anything like what happened for Lulu's in San Antonio that stemmed from the 4 restaurants video. But yeah, try to keep everything positive. But people like drama, so might give them that every now and then. We'll see. But still keeping everything positive. I don't want to be ever seen by people as like a diva or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. You just tell them, I hope your cooks came in early this morning because I'm ready.
yeah. No, I won't say anything until the actual video starts. Or else, really, I might not say anything until I win. Because I don't want to.
There you go.
I don't want to say something and be a jerk about it at the beginning and then lose. Then I look like the bitch. Yeah.
Even your negative video, you started out by saying there are others on this list, but I appreciate them and I want to do the challenge again, and I don't want to burn this bridge. You started out with that positive note, saying, there could be.
Well, and I tried to keep that video unbiased as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't make anything up.
No.
All of that's nonfiction, and it's what happened at the restaurants. So, and that's why none of the 4 restaurants came back or messaged me or tried to say any of it was made up, because it all happened.
Yeah. I mean, even if Lulu's did come back, there's a picture of you outside with the police. So it's like, what are they going to say?
Yeah,
why are you there?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and then I'd have all the families with me to vouch, and then, of course, Mitch and all that. Yeah. I mean, people are still calling me a crybaby, but I mean, when you get 6 million views to a video, you're going to have a couple of people negative about it.
100%. Yeah. I have a couple questions as we kind of close it out. So I want to talk about the difference between doing a live event. And I think one thing that Katina does is she shows some cheat days at home and a little bit of that entry into her life there. Most of your channel is more of those outbound live events from your touring. Is that a plan to add some of that to your repertoire as 2020 continues?
Yeah, and that's kind of the funny thing of the initial videos that I did with Katina is Katina does a lot of her videos at the house. So all she's doing is talking to her camera, or even when she's at a restaurant, she's just pretty much there talking to her camera. And people were giving me all kinds of crap. Why is he so loud? And so at these events, I mean, we did the one where it's the worst on is the seafood challenge we did, where it was outside under a tent with everybody social distancing, like I'd say probably 65 to 80 different people there all around the area. I mean, I had to be loud so everybody could hear me, which was loud into Katina's video. So I was getting all kinds of crap from people that didn't realize that they weren't the priority. I mean, it's the people that are actually in person are priority number one. But then when I do a live event, when I live stream event, I also try to keep everybody watching Facebook Live engaged. So it's hard to balance everything. And then actually the people watching the edited video, they're like priority 3 or 4. And the ones that don't know that is usually where the weird, funny comments come from.
So another question. How many shirts do you have and how do you store them? Because I got to imagine there's,
I get all kinds of people asking about that. And that's actually, I wanted to bring this up earlier because it was involved in some of the stuff we've talked about. I have people that tell me I should donate the shirts and stuff like that. And it just boggles my mind and just frustrates the hell out of me because I would say, I don't really know the number. And once I go home for Thanksgiving, I get to add all my shirts from this year into a new tub. But I'm working on filling up tub number 5. So I've got 5 45-gallon tubs of shirts, all at mom and dad's house in the basement. So I have a lot of shirts. And then that also includes hats, hoodies. I used to collect newspaper articles and stuff like that.
Wow.
All of that stuff goes into the tub. So I have a lot of those. But I mean, hell, I've probably spent $130,000 on all my different travels and everything in order to collect those shirts. So it always boggles my mind when people think that I should just give them away or something like that. Eventually, they'll be used in an investment. I have no desire, because I love freedom, I have no desire to be the active manager of a restaurant. But at some point, I do foresee myself maybe being an investor, using my name or something like that. And then all of the decorations will be my T-shirts.
Some flair on.
So that's kind of what's been my vision now. And then we'll have a sign at the front door that says, before you consider stealing one of the T-shirts on the wall, call your mother and tell her that you love her. You may not get to again.
I love that. That actually rolls into another one that I have. So you said you've spent $130,000 or more on the travel and getting those T-shirts, but I want to know about the other side of it. How much money do you think you've actually saved on completed challenges? Because some of them could be $68 to $70 a day. Would you estimate it being equal, around $130,000?
That's actually one thing that we're going to be doing before I get to 1,000 wins. I'm going to just make an Excel spreadsheet and actually, because it's going to be a little difficult because I'm going to have to do all the conversions and stuff like that for all the different currencies used. But yeah, I'm going to just create a spreadsheet and figure out how the weight of all the food, a general estimate, and then how much savings. So it's going to be a big number. Yeah, I mean, even just from some of the tours that Mitch and I have gone, figuring out the stats after the tour was over. I mean, there was like over $5,000 in food saved between the two of us. Wow. So it's going to be a big number, especially because of my past few years. The company Further Year that I've been working with, they've been setting up challenges and working with restaurants to set up challenges. And some of the challenges have been like seafood and stuff. They've been expensive. So I mean, I've done a couple challenges that would have cost over $300 to lose.
And I didn't see many that you lost, so that's a good thing.
Well, that's the thing too, and I won't include these in the number, but I mean, even when I lose, I don't pay.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, the restaurants don't charge me for the meal because they appreciate all the business they've gotten and stuff like that.
The publicity is definitely over 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So you're always wearing headphones. What are you listening to? I've read
Well,
I
not
read on
really
there with
anymore.
like Miley Cyrus and Pop, Taylor Swift.
In all of the in all of the early videos, I was wearing headphones, but not so much anymore because I don't want to have a disconnect between my audience and I.
Okay.
Like in that Nashville Milkshakes video, I want that girl to feel like she can comment and so I can react to her. I don't want people thinking, oh, he's got his music on, I should just sit here and not really have a good time and just watch him. I think that would be boring for people. But yeah, no, the early years I was always listening to my headphones because really it was just me doing the challenge and maybe a few people watching. But I've always had the same girls in my life. Miley Cyrus has my favorite song, Party in the USA. My original MP3 player, Party in the USA, is on there 3 times. It's still my favorite song. But my favorite girl singer is Kesha. I love Kesha. So there's so many songs of hers that are just amazing. Big Taylor Swift fan. But my number 3 girl is Avril Lavigne. So she's got a lot of great songs. Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Demi Lovato. And then I've got just a couple songs from Eminem to man it up.
Yeah.
And then I've got Bye 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 on there from NSYNC. And then a couple others.
That's
and
awesome.
The Wide Open Spaces by Dixie Chicks.
Yeah, there you go.
So that helps me when I'm feeling full.
That's a great lineup. I remember listening to Katy Perry did an Unplugged album, and I listened to that thing front and back so many times over. I thought it was so good. She's a very talented singer.
Yeah, she's very good. I don't really like I would rather go to a Kesha or Miley Cyrus concert. I've been to Katy Perry too, but Katy Perry's big, and I think Taylor Swift is like this too. I haven't been to one of hers, but she's big on the lights and the performance side of it. Kesha and Miley are more into the crowd engagement and talking to everybody and stuff like that. But yeah, no, great singer.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling on the road, what is it like to do 2 challenges in one day?
Oh, my body's too old and done with those now. I don't recover as fast as I used to. But yeah, no, I've done a crazy amount of 2-a-days without throwing up. It's a lot easier to do when you throw up, which is what the people that do 2-a-days still these days are doing in order to not gain any weight. But it's rough. It's a lot of fun, but pretty much you're usually doing 2 smaller challenges in that day. You try to do the bigger one first, around 11 to noon, 1 at the latest, and then take some time off, and then do a little bit of jogging, have some water, stuff like that. And then I usually do the second challenge around 7 at night. And so then you give your body time to digest and get the food out of the stomach down into the intestines, so then you can use your stomach again.
Huh.
So how do you recover from a food challenge?
Let's see. It really depends on how big the challenge is, what all I have going on. Because sometimes I'll have to do the food challenge and then sign autographs, take photos for like an hour. And then I'll have to, sometimes 2 hours, and then I'll have to drive 5 hours before I do, so that I can be in the next city. Because I like to get to the next city that night so then I can wake up and either work on my computer to get a video ready, or I'll go to a park and I'll ride my bike. This year was a lot different touring as compared to all previous years because I had enough money to buy a van that I called Pegasus, which kept my bike, Stacy, which is a really nice Stages spin bike. And I would keep that in the back and I would use that conveniently in order to get all my exercise in during the trip. So, but yeah, the exercise on the bike is my way to burn the calories. And I would really only do the challenge meals. There wasn't a whole lot of calories that I had outside of the food challenges themselves. And I know I take digestive enzymes before each challenge. So those kind of help with the after. Because like if you eat a big meal, you get really tired afterwards because your body is using all of its energy to digest the food. By taking the digestive enzymes beforehand, it would help me with the food challenges and all the digestion after, because I didn't want to fall asleep while driving or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that helped. And then, I mean, my body is so used to everything now that if it's under 6 pounds, I usually don't have a big feeling of discomfort or anything like that. It's only after the big ones that it can really suck.
6 pounds seems pretty big to me.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah.
Well, for the average person, anything over 4 pounds is very, very big.
Wow. So one of the final, I have 2 more questions, really. I mean, I could go on forever, but what's up with the bears? I don't know how to.
Yeah, that's a great question. Leonidas is his name. Yep. And back in 2015 is when Leonidas joined the team. And now he's been to all 37 countries with me in all 50 states. So that is pretty cool. But back then, there were a lot of photos being shared online that were going viral. And a lot of them had no branding at all. So people would share these big food challenge photos with me, and there'd be no branding on them. And it was so diluted by the time I saw it that you wouldn't even know where the food challenge was. And so by getting Leonidas, it was not only promoting our store, a lot of YouTubers at least used to use it. I don't know how many still do, but it was a company called Spreadshirt. It's a print to ship company for like t-shirts and stuff without having to have a bunch of upfront costs. I used that for many years. And so one of the options that was available was these bears. So I figured, hey, this would help advertise the bear, and I would take photos with Leonidas and the food so that every photo we posted always had our FC logo in it. And now families want them. People get them as gifts for their girlfriends or anybody that watches the videos, their kids. And we've sold over 1,000 of them. So that's pretty neat.
Wow. Well, hopefully everyone listening can go get a bear. That'd be
Yeah, Christmas is coming up. They're available.
Yeah. My final question that I have will bring us back to the beginning. Unless, Drew, do you have something?
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about something that means a lot to you, and it's the Boy Scouts. You achieved the status of Eagle Scout, and that is
16, yes.
It's no feat in its own, right? My cousin Dan is an Eagle Scout, and I watched him go through that process. So I want to talk a little bit about why you enjoyed the Boy Scouts, and I think it ties very specifically to YouTube and to who you are. And I want to talk about what your final project was as
some therapy. I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not talking about it like that, but why did you continue? Because I feel like the Boy Scouts, there's a huge attrition rate with it after the Derby or whatever the main event is. If it's like building a boat, floating them, or whatever it is.
Pinewood Derby is what you're talking about.
Pinewood Derby, there it is.
That's with cars, but then there's also a boat race too. So yeah,
okay.
We used to do both of those. It was fun.
And so, what was the reason why you attained that, and why did you continue to be part of the Boy Scouts?
I would say I loved the camaraderie. I was in it with a lot of friends, and then I think the big thing with scouting and your enjoyment is all about how the parents are. Because I think it's all gone downhill because parents, I don't know anything about parenting because I'm not a parent, but thankfully, but the parents for us just kind of let us do it all. So it was all, we were in it. We did pretty much everything. They just sat there and made sure we didn't kill ourselves. And so like we did everything for camping and all that. And it was a lot of fun. It was the camaraderie and the challenge to everything too. Of doing all the goals that we had and the camping trips and stuff like that. These days, and I was really happy to leave my troop at the time that I did when I turned 18 because too many of the parents were doing too much for the kids, which at least for me, it would have ruined the experience. But I mean, and still today, I just love a good challenge and also too, the camaraderie. Like I hated roofing sales. I've never learned so much in 7 months and got my butt kicked by all the people saying no and stuff like that and being able to deal with rejection. But I loved the camaraderie of everything. And that's one of the hard parts about everything related to social media is that all of our relationships are just kind of on the surface. I mean, I talk to hundreds of people a day sometimes, but I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
I just spend a couple seconds commenting back to their stuff or answering their question, and then I move on to focus on something else. There's not really anything deep, and I mean, I don't talk to my editors all the time. It's a lot of alone time. And I mean, when I was on the tour, I mean, I would spend maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 at the restaurant, and I'd be around people. But then other than that, it was just me. So in order to be at least a professional leader or something like that, either you need to be good at being alone, I guess, and kind of doing your own thing, which is really exciting about having Katina to be part of everything now, because she's on that same journey herself. But going back to Boy Scouts, I would say just the challenge and then just all the fun. I mean, I love being outdoors and camping and experiences. And I did like a 10-day backpacking trip in New Mexico, spent 10 days on a boat in the Bahamas, spent 10 days canoeing up in Minnesota. So just all the different fun activities and the camaraderie and stuff like that, just all made it great. And then going back to it, it was just us doing it ourselves. And then the parents were there, just kind of cheerleaders, just trying to make sure that we kept everything on track and we're doing our thing. And it was fun.
Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest things about YouTube. And for you, obviously, on your side, it's got to be lonely, right? Traveling in any sense like that, doing those things.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable with yourself.
But the other side is what I think drives me to be part of YouTube and part of that community is you really get, it's a weird thing, right? You say that people only know you through the lens. You might not know them, but as a viewer of many people on YouTube, you really do feel like you're part of someone's life, even if you're not. And I think that's what keeps YouTube a community and why almost every YouTuber we talk to and why we love it, the comments are so positive because everyone loves the community. Everyone loves being part of it. They love being part of everyone's lives. And I think that's what drives YouTube as a separate social media in its own sense. There's not so much hatred within it. And I really love that. And I think you, on your side, always remember, maybe if it's lonely, you're the driver of your community. And that's what you joined it for, I think.
Yeah, and I try to be as engaging as we can, and that's why
100%.
I mean, our events always have more people showing up than anybody else.
I am.
It says a lot when somebody drives 7 hours to come watch you eat.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would 100% drive 7 hours to watch you eat an 8-pound burger.
I appreciate that.
So with that being said, I appreciate the time that you gave us tonight. And I think that it's an amazing journey that you're on. And I can't wait to see what the future brings for you and what you and Katina can do together as you guys grow and what you can do for the world. I mean, the community, because it's not just the US, right? You're a global community, Randy Santel. And I'm so stoked to see what the change as a dietitian can do for what we're facing in the United States and globally.
Yeah, I have to echo that sentiment awesome. For sure.
And so what's really fun too is having Katina is not only are we going to be able to do these last 2 years of professional eating or whatever together, and then she's, of course, finishing her degree in kinesiology. So she'll be able to help me and have her own social media and all that. Of course, we'll have a lot of mutual subscribers, but she'll be able to help me with everything more from the fitness side of everything. So it'll be great. And then she's got, of course, a whole solid fundamental understanding of nutrition as well. So she'll be along to be on the team and be with me and get everything going. So it's going to be awesome.
I'm excited. Drew, have you ever done a challenge? Have you ever done a food challenge?
No, I haven't.
I have not either. So I told this to Katina. If you guys ever show up on either in Cincinnati or over here in the Allentown or Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, New York area, we could do let's get
some Skyline chili.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, crap.
Yes.
Dang. That's the drop awesome. Right there.
Yeah. No, I did an 8-pound chili mac challenge at a place called Blue Ash Chili in Blue Ash, Ohio. It was pretty good.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
on.
It was delish. It's really good with the fried jalapeno caps.
Some
awesome.
healthy vegetables, right?
That's awesome.
Yes, there you go.
Well, man, I would love to, if you ever are in our area, we'd love to catch up again and maybe do a food challenge, with you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, we're going to be all over the country to start off 2021. And as soon as the world opens back up, we'll start doing international. But until then, we'll be a lot of trips all around the United States. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. What are the first I guess I have more questions. What are the first 13 states or countries that you want to hit to get to the 50? What
okay.
Your goals?
Number one on my list won't be the number one we go to, but Scandinavia. So that'll knock out Denmark, Finland, Sweden, and Norway.
Okay.
And then maybe Iceland or Greenland if we can find some challenges there. But definitely going to get to, these won't be new for me, but Katina and I want to get to the UK and then Australia. They'll both be new for her. But then definitely want to go to South Africa and Brazil. And then I think Costa Rica's got a challenge too. So we're going to be going all around. And then she wants to get to the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and then there's a couple other new countries we can get to, like Luxembourg, in order to, and then there's a couple other Asian countries that I want to do some challenges into, like Indonesia. So it'd be nice to get to like 55 countries. We'll just have to see. And then the really far off kind of like dream, not really a dream because it is possible. It'd be awesome to do a food challenge in Antarctica.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like a $15,000 trip to get there and do everything together. But being able to say we've done a food challenge in Antarctica would be awesome. We would just have to find like a team working there or something with their restaurant or whatever food provider to do something for us. We'll have to see.
Super cool.
It'd be awesome. Yeah.
You could
I
hit
only know
Brazil,
one person who's
Chile.
been to all 7 continents. It'd be cool to be on that list.
You could hop down South America. You could go like Brazil, Argentina, or Chile, and then pop over. I mean, pop over. It's what, like 1,100 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, you just have to find somebody to get it going.
Yeah, it would be amazing to watch a food challenge in Antarctica.
You'd get some views, that's for sure.
Yeah, and check. I mean, that's the continent that is not the easiest to get to. So,
yeah.
Well, I appreciate
do it for the gram.
Yeah. Do it for the gram for sure. That would be a heck of an Instagram picture. That
is for sure. Not one that many people have.
No. Well, I appreciate the time, and I really look forward to catching up later on. The hot sauce, it took me a long time to ship it to Katina. It was literally sitting here for so long. Try it out. It's got some kick to it.
Okay.
So let us know how you like it. And man, I appreciate the time so much.
Yeah,
awesome. Thanks for everything. And thanks for having me on the show. So,
yeah, we look forward to it.
Looking forward to sharing it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And everyone, make sure you go on and subscribe to his channel if you're not already. Like him on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these social medias. It helps every time. And get a bear. It's the holiday season.
Hey,
better than a bear.
If you love somebody, get them a Leonidas bear.
Yeah.
Everything is Randy Santel as far as YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And then if you do have any questions about food challenges, pretty much 99% of them are answered on foodchallenges.com.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Randy.
Thank you.
All right.